In this video, together, we're gonna be ranking the fastest ways to make $10,000 a month online in 2026. And I'm not gonna be telling you about bullshit methods like filling out online surveys, because I tried those when I was a kid, and at most you make 30 cents every other day. So you're not gonna get rich with this, absolutely not. Here, we're only gonna look at actual business models. Now, you might have heard of some of those models before. If you don't know me, my name is Fred. I discovered you could actually make money on the internet when I was 11 years old, just about to turn 12 really, because I decided to type how to get rich in the YouTube search bar because I saw and heard my parents always complaining about money. We weren't poor by any means, we weren't living in the streets, but we had a very limited and very frustrating life. We were in the low to middle class, and I thought, damn, life is so short. There's so many beautiful things to do in this world, so many places you can see. But for that, you need a lot of money. That's what I realized from a very young age. So one of the first business models I ever tried on the internet was dropshipping. So to sum it up very briefly, what is dropshipping? You're basically finding cool, trendy products. For example, a fidget spinner. That back then was a very popular, trendy product. Nowadays, who the hell buys fidget spinners, you know? Like, they only sell for a couple bucks. It's not really that trendy or that cool anymore. There's something that used to be really cool and popular as well for Valentine's Day. These kinds of rose bears, like people would buy them for their girlfriends, boyfriends, even family members, non-romantically. And those like were a huge hit, I remember them. So the first product I ever sold, if you're curious, it was a flat squeeze mop. Like, literally a mop to clean the fucking floor. And we sold it for 50 bucks. And so you may be wondering, okay, well, how do I get the product first? Typically, you get the product from Wish or AliExpress or similar websites like Alibaba. You know, all these Chinese sites where you can find very cheap products, and then you mark up the price. Like maybe you get it for, I don't know, 10 bucks on AliExpress, you sell it for 60 bucks on your store, and you're supposed to keep the profit. But now the other question is, how do we get customers? Well, the most popular method for getting customers, especially with dropshipping, is paid advertising, more precisely Facebook ads. And so that's what we tried, with my best friend when we started this, back when I was still in high school. And the crazy thing is we started putting some money into Facebook, and within only 30 minutes of launching the ads, we actually got our first sale. Like, I remember this as if it were yesterday, It was during the summer, it was the evening, like around 8 p.m., and I think I was gonna go to have dinner with my parents outside, and then I come back to my room and I see so many notifications on WhatsApp from my friend, and he was going fucking crazy because we had gotten our very first sale. I could hardly believe it, because back then, I had only ever seen, other people making money online. Now, up until this point, it seems like, wow, dropshipping was so amazing, but trust me, it wasn't. We lost all our money into Facebook ads. We didn't understand anything about business or paid advertising or the psychology of why people buy. So that was a huge fail. But look, I'm not the only one. To this day, I've spoken to hundreds of people on calls, one-on-one, like those calls take at least, on average, an hour, and most of those people have tried dropshipping. I also know people who made lots of money with dropshipping, but what nobody tells you is that the profits are extremely low. 5 to 20% profits if you're lucky. What this means is that every time you're making, say, $10,000, you're only gonna keep like $500 to $2,000 maximum out of $10,000. So if you want to make $10,000 a month in profits, and you have 20% profit, you need to get $50,000 a month in sales. And for some people, that might not be extraordinary. For others, that might seem like it's a fuck ton of money. It depends on your point of view, your perspective. But I can tell you, if you need to get $50,000 in sales, you're gonna need to be spending a lot of money on advertising. So if you want to start this business, get a shot at actually succeeding, the most efficient way is to run ads. But even then, the problem is it's gonna cut into your profit margins like fucking crazy. That's no matter what you sell, unfortunately. But with dropshipping, it's even worse because your profit is very thin, gets even thinner, and there's so many goddamn issues. Not to mention that the advertising platforms themselves do not really like dropshippers. You're gonna get banned constantly. It's a fucking nightmare. And you can't really build an empire or build a 10K, 20K, 30K per month profit income stream that gives you freedom, peace of mind, comfort, allows you to travel, provide for your family, if you're always, every single morning, waking up, fixing problems in your business, like every waking hour pretty much. And then you're having to respond to hundreds of customer support emails. Now, sure, at some point you can delegate that, but 99.9% of people never get like to the point where they make even $1,000 in profit with dropshipping. That's how difficult it is. If you absolutely wanted to do e-commerce, then sure, doing it in a dropshipping manner would be the smartest way, as opposed to spending, 50K on inventory, which might never sell. But dropshipping is like, everybody fails with that shit. It's hyped online by everyone. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing, so it goes in F tier. Next up on the list, we've got Amazon FBA. So it's very similar to dropshipping, but the main difference is you have to buy all the inventory up front. Then you send it to Amazon, they store it in their warehouse, and when somebody browses the Amazon site, they see your product, they like it, they think the pricing is reasonable for the value, etc. A transaction happens. And basically at this point, Amazon sends out the product to them. So you technically don't have to lift a finger, but the barrier to entry is much higher because you need at least 5-10 grand in inventory, whereas with Shopify, you need a couple grand, at least 5 grand realistically, to invest in paid advertising and test out different products. So Amazon FBA is even worse because you need to spend all that money on the inventory up front. And the results are even worse than Shopify because it's a lot more complicated. Sure, you can run Amazon ads, but it's very, very different. You really have so much less control over the product simply because it's on Amazon's platform. So they control pretty much everything. And I'm sure you've seen those products called Amazon Basics, right? Well, what happens essentially is if you do manage to succeed with this and your product is a good hit, Amazon's going to copy it. And then they're going to slowly stop driving traffic to your product and they will drive all the traffic to their product. So they make twice the profit. You don't control anything. It's very scary to be on somebody else's platform. Next up on the list, we've got selling high-ticket services or consulting or digital products. So what is it exactly? Basically, it's a business that revolves around the fundamentals of what human beings want. For example, with dropshipping, the issue is you're trying to sell people shit they don't need. So the amount of copywriting skills and marketing skills you need is absolutely fucking phenomenal. Whereas with high-ticket services, consulting, or digital products, we sell people what they desperately need and want. So just based on that alone, I'm sure you can see how much easier it is to make sales. Now, if you don't know what high-ticket means, it means expensive. It means something that has a certain price tag. So typically for this business model, that's how much you make per customer. At least $1,000. It's the bare minimum. Usually it's more. It's like 2 grand, 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand. That's like the average. All the way to $10,000 plus. Like there's no limit. You could be selling masterminds for $50,000 a year. For example, you sell a real estate mastermind. If you're really good at real estate, you can sell that $36,000 a year, $50,000 a year. You get 10 people to join. That's a lot of money. That's $500K a year just for hosting 1 or 2 or 3 events. So what do we sell exactly? Because that can seem a bit vague. So essentially, we help a specific type of person fix a specific type of problem. That's the easiest, simplest way I can sum it up for you. And that can be anything. There's 2 types of transformations really. There's what's going to be B2C and B2B. So when you're doing B2B, you're going to be helping businesses with a specific problem. For example, you can consult businesses on how to grow their business if you know how to do it, of course. Or you could be providing a done-for-you service to businesses. For example, you're going to run their ads for them. So for example, a beginner could start a lead generation service for local businesses or online businesses in a specific category. For example, e-commerce businesses. But most of the offers are going to be in the B2C category. So what's the B2C category? It means business to consumer. Essentially, this is going to be your health and fitness. This is going to be the dating market. This is going to be helping people to master a skill. So just to give you a few examples, I've got people who sell fitness coaching. They don't even necessarily have the certification, or the degree. They just sell that because they're in good shape, they're passionate about health and fitness, and they know their stuff, and they enjoy sharing it with other people, and they can charge 1K, 2K, 3K, 4K, even more depending on who they sell to, and that's like a 12-week coaching program or a fully hybrid online course. So by hybrid online course, what I mean is you give people an online course, they can follow it at their own pace, and on top of that, you've got a couple coaching calls per week, like group coaching calls. That way, you can take on dozens, even hundreds of customers all in one go without having to spend hundreds of hours a month solely doing client work. And that's how you scale. Because if you want to get to $10,000 a month, like with this model, it's pretty easy. You only need a handful of customers. If you sell something for 1 grand, it's 10 customers. If you sell a program, service, product, whatever, for $2,000, you've made $10,000. So it's not that difficult. And contrary to popular belief, It's not more difficult to sell something more expensive. If anything, it's the opposite, as long as you're selling good value, obviously. Now, I can't go too in-depth in this video, otherwise it won't be 5 hours long, believe me. So if you want to learn more about this specific business model and how, yes, you too can do it, even if you have no experience, even if you are a beginner, I promise you, for most people, there is something you could be selling. You've got a 10K, possibly a 100K per month business just waiting to happen, but you don't even realize it. So if you click on the link in the description below, you'll find a free video training that's going to tell you more about this. And below, you'll be able to apply to book a free call with me or a member of my team. And on that call, we're going to see exactly how this method could work for you. Now, be quick for that because we have very, very limited spots. So I'm going to put it in the S tier because honestly, I have tried pretty much every single business model out there and nothing ever came close to it. Nothing. Not to mention that with this business, profits are extremely high. Remember, when you sell physical products, especially, your profits are very small. I mean, 5 to 20%, it's not that much, which is typical for, pretty much every business in the world, right? But with this, you can have at first up to 98% profit margins. Why not 100%? Well, because you need a payment processing software or app, like for example Stripe, so they won't take 2%, for example. So you can't have 100%, but I mean, who cares at this point? They give you a first service, which is worth paying for. Otherwise, how do you take payment? You're not going to have people, shipping you money in the mail. It just doesn't work like that. And then when you scale, your main cost is going to be just paid advertising. And then maybe some manual labor, maybe some appointment setters, maybe somebody who's going to close the sales calls for you. But your profit margins are never going to drop below 60 to 50% maximum, like worst case scenario, which is still higher, much, much higher in fact, than literally every other business model in the world, physical or online. Now, next up on the list, we have being a sales rep. So basically as a sales rep, the advantage is you don't own a business. You're more like self-employed. Being self-employed is very different to actually owning a business. So when you're a sales rep, sales guy, sales girl, all you have to focus on is closing the deals, taking sales calls, that's it. So the main advantage is it's less workload in the sense that you don't have to make the critical business decisions. You don't have to worry about the marketing. You don't have to worry about having a good product, like the client delivery, all that stuff. But the downside is you're always going to make a lot less money than if you simply had the whole business yourself, so a high-ticket consulting or service or digital product. And it doesn't really take that much extra work to own the business yourself and make literally 10 times the money than you would as a sales rep. However, if you wanted any job in the world, I would say be a sales guy or a sales girl because you're going to learn a fundamental skill. And once you know how to sell, you're never going to go hungry. So I'm not going to put it in S tier because the earning potential is not nearly as high as owning the business yourself, but it's going to go in A tier. Next up on the list, we've got making content on social media. And in this example, more precisely, it would be making content on YouTube and relying on ad platform revenue. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you love football, so you decide to make content about football. You don't have to show your face necessarily. For some niches, it really doesn't matter. Like if you unbox products, or you do cooking, or even you repost clips of football, etc. Like you don't need to show your face. Now, sometimes it can't always be monetized if you're just reposting other people's stuff, or things like music that you don't own yourself. But let's say your goal is to be a YouTuber, and make money with the ad revenue. Well, honestly, if you want to make 10K per month consistently, you're gonna need to get millions of views. And that really doesn't matter which niche you're in, you're gonna need to get a lot of views. Like yes, some niche pay you more than others. For example, the real estate niche, crypto niche, all of these finance related niches or travel, etc. They're gonna pay you more than if you purely do entertainment content, but at the same time, you still need to get so many goddamn views, it is insane. You'd make way more money by selling your own products instead, even if you're not famous. When I'm recording this, I'm far from being famous. I've got 200 something followers on Instagram and like just under 6,000 on YouTube. And I've been building these accounts for years. So you don't need to be famous by any means to make a lot of money. So if you only rely on AdSense revenue, I mean, it's as bad as dropshipping and everything, but if you sell your own products, it goes in S tier. Because now it's not just being a YouTuber for the sake of being a YouTuber and getting so many views and likes, right? It's because you use it as a way to get customers for your business. It's a very, very different strategy. But for the sake of this tier list, this is only AdSense revenue, so revenue from ads that play on your channel. So this is gonna go in the F tier pile, really, because it's quite shit. Next up on the list, we've got doing random freelancing gigs on the internet. You can use sites like Fiverr, Upwork, that kind of things. I mean, there's even a site that's like onlinejobs.ph, but it's more so for hiring virtual assistants from the Philippines. So I'm not sure if you can actually take up jobs on those, but there's plenty of freelancing sites on the internet. The downside of this is you're essentially at the mercy of the platform and the people who come on it and see services, and you're basically a commodity. You can't charge that much. You're very limited. Instead, it would be much smarter to just start a high-ticket service business. So instead of like going on Fiverr, selling, I don't know, let's say video editing services for $100. I can't even write with this. God damn. It's really hard to write with a mouse. Let's say you're going to be selling $100 per YouTube video that you make for people. Instead, you could go and have a high-ticket agency that helps content creators to grow specifically. You could be charging 1K, 2K, 3K, even more per month. And you're kind of doing the same thing. You just package it differently. So can you see how much of a difference this is? Now, I know that freelancing can make decent money, for people. It can be like a side income, like a side hustle, but it's not really going to be a full-blown business unless you get lucky, because when you post your jobs on Fiverr, sure, you can like pretty much reach out to people, but like that's it. You don't really have much leverage. Whereas with a high-ticket consulting business, you can use organic marketing, but also paid advertising later down the line. When you start getting customers, use that money to go to paid ads and make even more money. And then you can scale to crazy levels. So for that reason, I'm going to put it in C tier. Because yeah, it can make you some money. It's not trash like those businesses. But most people who go on these sites, they never even get a gig in the first place. Like not even a single one. Next up on the list, we've got building a school community. So if you don't know what School is, it's basically a website, kind of like ClickFunnels or Kajabi, where you can build your own online community. So for example, people are going to pay you $49 a month to learn about cooking, or about how to be more productive, or about how to invest in crypto, whatever it may be. The upside of this model is that if you have, let's say, 1,000 people paying you $49 a month, while you're making 49 grand a month. And if a couple people leave the group, it doesn't really affect your income that much. Whereas when you do high ticket, I have to admit, if you only have 2 customers and one leaves, well, that downs your income by half. But there are many ways to prevent that and to get way more customers. So high ticket still beats it. Like the difference is not even night and day. Because first you need to get 1,000 people into your school group, for example. That is very difficult to do. Just look at some people who've got millions of followers, alright? Go in the description on their channel, click on the school link, see how many people are in the paid school community. Is it 10,000? Is it 20,000? 30,000? No. Usually it's like 1,000 to 3,000 maximum. So the maximum people have made with this is like 100K, 200K. Now there's been outliers, people who made more. But if people with millions of followers only have like 2K people in the community, if you got 0 followers, how many people do you think are going to be in your community? You might get 3 people in it. You're making $147 a month extra. That's almost 2 grand a year. So it's a good side income. But unless you are famous, like genuinely, or you've got at least dozens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of extremely engaged fans on social media, this is just not going to work for you. Because the real reason people join these groups is because they want to connect to the creator. It's not really because they want the productivity hacks or whatever. They could watch free YouTube videos, but they want to connect with the creator. They want to be part of something, of the tribe, So it's very different. It is a fantastic business model, but you need to be famous. So that's going to take you a decade, if not more. That's why I'm going to put it in B tier. And one of the other main issues with this model is that you're going to be dealing with churn every month, meaning people who cancel the subscription. So it's very hard to scale. What can be smart, however, is to initially build a high-ticket consulting business, and then you also have a $49 a month community. If, again, you've got lots of people you can reach, lots of people in your email list or on your socials. Do not sell low-ticket stuff if you don't have a massive audience. You're gonna knock your head against the wall. It's not gonna be fun. Believe me. And by the way, I just wanted to show you a couple screenshots of the money I made selling high-ticket consulting. This business literally changed my life. It also changed the lives of dozens of the people I've mentored to this day. And I'm not talking about small money. I'm talking at least $10,000 a month in recurring income. You can say bye-bye to your job that you hate. If you want to learn more about this, check out the link in the description below. Watch the free video training and click below it to apply to book a free call with me or my team, and we'll show you exactly how we can help you to build this online business model, even if you have limited free time or limited money. But be quick because we have very limited spots for that. With that being said, I will see you on the other side.